Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is someone who just enjoyed some delicious rabbit kidney. It's Zanandi Boetes.
Finger licking good.
I was gonna say who's gonna be peeling off her skin because she just ate meat for the first
Mm.
time, but that one's pretty bleak to open an episode with. And that scene in Raw, directed by Julia Ducournau, is I love this movie, but that scene's crazy, but I still love it. This movie's great.
Right? I feel like the byline of Raw, it should be Raw. This is what happens when you give meat to vegetarians, people.
Yeah, don't feed
It's
them.
so
Don't feed them
good.
after midnight. Yeah.
Listen, but that rash actually triggers me because I had bad rashes as a kid. Like, I've got a very sensitive skin. So if I get too much like sun, now I'm fine. Like, kind of the immune system got all strong and stuff. But when I was a kid, I would get like these bad rashes that and that scene with the rashes and the skin peeling off with it really, I get flashbacks of how sore that is and how it's so crazy how your body can react to whatever the hell is happening inside of you. Like I once had I was so itchy, but I didn't have a rash, and the doctor said it's something that went into your blood, basically poisoned your blood, and that's why you feel like you want to scratch your freaking skin off, like you want to get inside. Like it's so crazy, like how our body can react to all kinds of stimulus. I mean, in this case, like it's a lot. This is a very complex, wonderfully complex movie, cannibal horror drama, bit of comedy movie. But yeah, like I love how Julia Ducournau also said her dad is a dermatologist, her mom is a gynecologist. So like I mean, that's where like her flesh fetish vibes come from. That's where she gets her inspiration. And she's just always been very interested in like how our bodies react to things. She's obviously heard her parents talk about case studies and stuff. And yeah, in this case, a lot of like how what's in the mind can manifest itself on the body. And I mean, that's why we love her movies because it's so about the body, but also about the personal identity and how that can clash or how the one can mirror the other. And I mean, her movies is just wonderful. I can't wait for Alpha, the next one, to come out. They just announced it the other day. So excited. And I mean, I know that we are but two of a lot of Julia fans out there. She's such a fun and exciting director, French director. And it's just, yeah, it's always, I mean, when I sat down to watch Raw again, it was honestly just a joy
Mm-hmm.
because everything is so beautiful and layered and it's complex, but you can also just follow it. You don't have to like, it's not one of those movies that I don't get it. I don't see a lot of people being like, I don't get what she's going for. Yeah, maybe one or two. Because I mean, it's gory, so I wouldn't say it's for everybody necessarily, but it's got so much and it's done so well. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna gush about it for the entire episode.
It's kind of
But
nice because recently we've talked about Lisa Frankenstein, we've talked about Pandorum, we just Fear, movies that are good but aren't really rated good. So it's kind of nice to talk about a movie that is rated well on
yes,
every single platform. And
yes,
we're talking about a Palme d'Or
refreshing.
winner, like a Palme d'Or winner, and Julia Ducournau, like second woman to win after Jane Campion. She's a monster in a good way, just an
Yes,
unbelievable director, and everything you just said is true. Just the way that she handles, in these movies, there's a lot of flesh, body horror, nudity, but I think if you're a doctor and you look at bodies all day, you kind of stop looking at them like they're in the movie Wild Things, which we've also talked about, which is a good movie. Not totally loved, but it's a good movie. And you don't look at it like that. You just look at it as flesh on a human that can get rashes, that can be cut off, that can be severed, that can be probed. And her the way she explores movement and the body is just gorgeous. Like she is an A plus director, and she's probably one of my favorite working today. And
Absolutely.
you know, you're talking about the way that this movie looks. I mean, Raw. What I love about Titane and Raw is like Raw. There's a lot of red. There's a lot, a lot of red blood, but there's also a lot of blue. There's a lot of yellow. There's a lot of green. You know, like
Yes.
when they're covered in paint and they have to blend together
Oh, that
and
paint scene is
just
beautiful. The opening scene is beautiful with the trees,
yeah,
the very French shots, like they say.
yeah, very
Yeah,
French,
it's
like
so
you know, like
good.
Breathless, right? The driving shots and Godard stuff,
Yes,
and it's
yes,
just a gorgeous looking movie. But then you look at like Titan, and it's a very aggressive. It's red, blue, and obviously metallic and gold. It's almost harsh in some moments. Like it's, I wouldn't say it's very
neon.
harsh, and yeah, neon, and it's gorgeous, but it's meant to very much so kind of burn your eyes, even though it's gorgeous. But
Yes,
it's much more, for lack of a term, better term, like muscular. It's more aggressive.
yes,
This Raw,
yes,
you know, it's a it it has the bright colors, right? It has a lot of red, a lot of blue, like a lot of primary colors, but it's still a very homey feeling movie. A lot of it's in the daylight, a lot of it is drenched with light, and it's still just a gorgeous looking movie that, I mean, with excellent performances too. So Garance Marillier, thank you, thank you,
Oh,
thank you. I looked that up on YouTube. She is incredible. I found this amazing quote, and I think I sent it
good.
to you. But she's like, I discovered her when she was 12, and now she's 19, so it makes me even older. Even at 12, I saw that she was going to be a huge pain in the ass. She's like, but I love her anyway, which I love. And she's very physical, and this is where I enter, because for me, it's very important to work with physical actors, as I direct bodies very much. All
Mm.
this for me is like ballet. It's like bodies and music. And Garance in this film, the way her body changes, the way her expressions change, the way how her, like in the beginning of the film, she's very meek and timid, and she kind of is hunched
Soft,
over.
almost
And then
soft. And I think there's a soft light also there. Like, you talk about the colors and the lighting, it's almost softer to kind of, yeah, let us like, go with this character that is going through all of these things. Sorry to interrupt you, but
no,
yeah, just to add to like, there's almost a softness to it where we meet her, where yeah, things get, I mean, that scene where she sits in the corner at the party and she just sits there, like nothing really happens. The camera just goes like
yeah,
between the crowd of people dancing, and she's just sitting there, and it's that black and red light, like, this complete I mean, it's so good. It's just, yeah, it's clever. It's effective. It takes us with the character. Like yeah, Julia Ducournau, she just gets monsters and how everyone can have a monster, but she takes you with it, not like, to be scared of or to like keep you at a distance. Like you're there, you're in it. And like, yeah, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you there,
no, you're
but
absolutely right. And she doesn't use a lot of dialogue to explain it. Oh, hey, my body's changing. You have a scene where she's looking into a mirror and just dancing and kissing it with like the most gnarly song
oh,
playing, which I love.
good,
You know, just
good.
staring at the camera, just lit beautifully and just becoming a different person. And you know, it's interesting. Her head is hunched in the beginning, but then when she kind of finds herself, when she becomes the cannibal, she puts her head down, but more of like a badass way. So it's
Yes.
she kind of like holds it down, and the way she walks through crowds change, the way she deals with people change. It's just, you know, it's visual storytelling. And another really important thing you said was, this is a movie, I think great movies can be watched on multiple levels. So you can watch Mad Max Fury Road and just be like, this is amazing. Or you can watch Mad Max Fury Road and be like, these special effects, these visual effects, these stunts are mind blowing. Like you could
Yeah.
just, you could watch it on every level. I always say it's Starship Troopers. You can watch it on many levels. This one, you could just, you know, watch it and enjoy the gore. You can enjoy the coming of age tale, or you can watch it and realize the colors, the body language. Like you can watch it on multiple levels, and that's what great films are. And both of her films
Yes.
are that. She's just awesome. Like Julie, I was doing an episode about Neon, and my guest Joe B, he was like, he's in love with Julia. He's like, she's just the absolute best. And like, she said that she makes movies too. Like, she gets pissed that people call her like, oh, you're making a feminine movie. She's like, no. Like, people don't tell Leo and Scorsese that they're making a
Scorsese.
dude movie. And she's
Yeah,
like, no, I make movies for
exactly.
everybody. And she's like, that scene where we're pulling out all the pubic hair, everyone can feel that. Everyone knows what it's like to get their hair pulled. So yes, it's happening
Exactly.
to a woman, but like everybody on this planet can feel that pain.
Can
And
relate to it.
it
She
just
puts
sucks
you
that
in
she has to
there.
say that, right? And like Celine Sciamma from like what Portrait of a Lady on Fire, she's like, stop calling my movie like a directed by a woman. Just say it's a movie. And don't give
Yeah,
it better
exactly.
grades because it's directed by a woman. It's always the French women who are saying this, which I love. They're like, guys, stop.
Stop.
Uh,
Stop.
but yeah,
Oh.
these movies are incredible. I don't know, like there's something different about her.
I mean, and that's the thing, but I mean, I think that's also a very French thing. The French are very more like open about like their bodies and not afraid to hide it and whatever. They're more comfortable with like things like nudity and stuff. We know that. And I mean, I love it because listen, we can also just like do an entire pod episode about like from pulling Julia Ducournau quotes because this is
She's
one
awesome,
thing.
right?
She's awesome. I freaking love her. And everything she says is awesome. And it's like, yeah, girl, preach. But yeah, there's this quote from an interview that I wrote down. It's so good. She says, like, I didn't want to glamorize anything when it came to like, you know, showing bodies and showing nudity and whatever. It's like I didn't want to glamorize anything, especially with the girls' bodies. A body is a body. Like in every movie we see, women have to be beautiful, fit, or whatever the hell, and they have to fit into certain boxes. And no, women fart, poop, pee, burp. This is why you can relate to them because they are not heavenly creatures. They are real people with real feelings. And when they go down, they go down. And this is something we don't see enough of. Like, I love that, you know? She's like, yeah, I'm not gonna like have this, ooh, gorgeous, beautiful shots of things and what. It's just gonna be real and raw. Uh-huh.
No.
But like, you know, I mean, and that's his style. And it's so good. And like with Garance who plays Justine,
Mm.
because this is very much the story of Justine. I mean, like in the beginning, you know, she's much more timid, and we see that like that aggression, that carnivorous, carnal, like aggression, like evolve and come out, you know, as she like finds her, like, you know, inner self, like Julia calls it like the monster, but you know, the identity and the sexual awakening and who am I? Who am I in this body? And like, am I my body? You know, like that whole, I mean, it's just, it's lovely. I love it that there's so many layers to a cannibal horror movie. It might be the most like complex layered cannibal horror movie ever. It's so good. Yeah, I appreciate it so much. I mean, listen, I don't want like a sequel or anything to this. This is a standalone movie. But if you ask me, if I had to choose one cannibal movie that I would love to see, like, you know, a sequel to, I would say Raw, yes, because I mean, oh my gosh, put me back into this world where these women are trying to women and while trying to figure out what that even means. And yeah, it's such a lovely playground to get messy in. Like the scenes with the animals. Oh my gosh. Like that horror scene, the sedation scene, they actually went and filmed at a veterinary school. They had like a sedation or sedation scheduled. So Julia was just like, yeah, I want to like, you know, go film it, just put the characters into the frame. And they shot it. And she kind of wanted to show like how even like such a majestic creature like a horse could be at the mercy of its own body. Like that was the point there, you know, and you see it with the animals and versus the humans and what they do. And like the whole monkey AIDS rape
Yeah.
conversation that they have in the,
Yeah.
like, you know, this is apparently what students at vet school talk about. And then you've got like, I love that the whole thing is also initiation. And this is why I'm like, yeah, I can see a sequel because it's like chapter 1 initiation and that's raw, you know, because it's basically from the beginning of the initiation until the end. So chapter 2 can be like, you know, something else. So I don't know.
Grad
I can
school and then
just
doctorate.
see the universe. I can
Yeah.
see the universe. Like I don't necessarily want like sequels. I find the world fascinating and the play exactly like the practice. No, initiation, practicing. Like
Yeah.
chapter 2, practice.
And you know what's crazy is man, all that was great. And just
Sorry, I said
add
a lot now.
no, but like adding the initiation stuff and just watching her going along with it meekly.
Right?
And then
The
watching
social impact
yeah, like
of. that you also have to deal with when you leave the house and go find yourself.
And like Adrian, right? Like Adrian fought him, where like, and he said he spent 20 years in the closet, correct? And he had just come out. So
Yes.
he was himself. He had embraced himself and he was fighting back. Whereas Justine wasn't there yet. But her sister, it's my favorite part is Alexia, her sister, had been a cannibal essentially her entire life, where she
Yeah.
just she's a serial killer. She's a serial
Yeah.
killer.
Yeah. We don't know when it started, but
Mhm.
she's clearly,
Murdering people and eating
yeah,
them.
yeah, she knows what she's doing. She's
And
getting away with it. So
she's like in T10, like that serial killer in there. So she's a serial killer, but she's been at it her whole life, and she's embraced being a cannibal. Whereas Justine's a vegetarian, she's meek, she's a prodigy, and it's true. Like when people are, I've seen it when people are kind of, what's, for lack of a better term, coddled, or they're not, they're like overprotected. There's too many rules, and then when you get freedom, holy mackerel, like you go for it. And it's even worse when you're a
exactly.
cannibal. So
Yeah.
it's like times two. So, but what's great though is you don't have to be a cannibal to relate to this movie, or a woman. Like you can be like, oh, this is freedom for the first time, family
Exactly.
problems. There's a lot that you can take
Exactly.
from this. But I love that Justine's a good kid, and she's still 16, 17 in this movie. So just still just a good kid, but who gets that freedom, but also has to deal with being a cannibal. And I think she deals with it pretty well. And I think at the end, she's still a good person. She just went out and went hard because that's what you do in college. Like when I went to college, I grew up all of high school partying. So when I went to college, I was like, oh, cool. This is fun. Like I just have Russell, like it's cool. Like this isn't a different change for me. So I never went insane, but
Yeah.
I could see people who had their first taste of freedom just go for it. And of course she's going to do that. Of course, like she's going to come of age of this, of like, and then, I mean, just tossing cannibalism, but that's the way you get this movie made. You're not going to get a sister coming of age film that gets as big of a widespread release as sisters who are cannibals. So but like, I think she handles
Exactly.
those themes well, because you don't even need to pick up on those themes when you watch this movie. You can just enjoy the chaos and how great it looks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, you'll get it by the end anyways, because I love the ending that just adds the
Oh, the
little like
dad.
extra bits of like yeah, and I mean it also again like implies that the mother never the kids don't know this about their mom. The two girls don't know it. So the mother never talked about it. And that also is like, that other thing. It's like the dad who never talked with his boys about anger issues, or the mom that never
Uh,
talked with the girls about, again, it's relatable. It doesn't matter like who or what you are, like it's, yeah, because again, with Justine, she didn't have support. She didn't have anyone who gave her the time of day. We just like constantly saw people like beating her down, I mean, I feel like the nurse was the nicest to her of everyone,
that story was
and
great.
she was very mellow, but the story was great. But like so there was no support, no one to even like go and talk to and like, listen, I'm confused here because I'm really trying my best, but the pressure is kind of getting to me so much so that I'm having a like eating disorder. She literally, it felt like she didn't have anyone and any support. And I mean, that's what's going to happen in that situation. If someone's so on the line, where the stress of like performing and like making your parents happy and like getting good grades and like living up to people's expectations and society's expectations and whatnot, that can break people. That can
Yeah.
like bring out the bad. So I mean, I guess this is like just a story of watching a girl breaking bad because of neglect at the end of the day. And I mean, yeah, in a bourgeois kind of way at the same time. Like again, the movie is so lovely and layered, and it's not like, Julia is giving us this character and saying, feel sorry for her, feel so very sorry for her. She's not doing that. Like there's a lot of self-awareness in the film. There's a lot of cheeky little moments where like you just laugh because like what?
The finger scene.
I mean, at the beginning also when the mom freaks out in the restaurant where they are, like, how can you give this to my child?
Yeah.
She's being all very she's being very Karen. obviously
Mhm.
we don't know what, like, because we don't know yet what the mother, she doesn't want her to say it's meat because she's scared the girl might then, yeah, awaken the cannibal. But still, she's being very Karen in that restaurant. So yeah,
It's crazy that
it's a lovely little story that
like
she put together here.
in high school, my buddy's parents would have us go to their house. We would put our keys in a bowl and then we would just get obliterated. Like we're talking drunk, like just wobble around the backyard,
Yeah,
pick up all the
yeah.
green stuff that we drank, whatever was there, and then just find somewhere to sleep, get up in the morning, drive away, and get it out of our system. But they sent a girl off to college, knowing full well there's a chance she could eat meat. Like, I think, wouldn't it be
Right?
better if they just took her keys and gave her some meat at their house? You know what I mean? Like, I guess what I'm saying, does that make like, hey, you're
Or
gonna go to
train
school
your
soon. Yeah,
daughters,
you're gonna go
like,
to school
oh
soon. Like,
God,
it's like what Dexter. He's like, I have a serial killer kid. I got to train him with rules. So you have a
exactly.
cannibal child. Listen, you need to eat people. It's not good. But like they sent her out with
There
nothing.
are ways.
Yeah,
There are
exactly.
ways.
Here's you need a code. Like that could be actually a TV show, a cannibal cop. Cannibal cop. This summer,
But
one
like
cop, half cannibal, solves murders.
works. Yeah, well, I mean, how
Sorry,
do you
I
solve
just
that? Like work for a funeral home.
yeah, yeah, and like if you're
Sure, we'll
going,
cremate your husband. Sure.
I mean, I'll cremate the bones, but yeah, just train them though, train them like just
But that's what the movie shows, doesn't it? It shows that the parents are, I mean, they drop her off outside. Like you can't even see the actual building. It's just like this parking lot of nothing because her sister isn't coming out to get her and they just leave her there. And there's this vast shots of just her alone. And the parents just drive away. Okay, bye. It's like, so yeah, clearly not mom and dad of the year.
you know, typically, let's say parents just drop them off. Like, we're not going to coddle you. You're going to be fine. We love you. We'll see you later. But she's a cannibal. Like, they
And
don't.
there's literally no one around. She's like that shot. I mean, there's a reason why she did that, like, wide shots. Like,
Mhm.
she's the only person there. Like,
Yeah, not great
I don't know,
parents.
it's weird. No,
If
no.
they were only like the parents in the parent in Titane, then maybe she would have been all right. Because that's the strangest. That's the strangest father son relationship I've ever seen in my life. But it's also kind of beautiful in that movie.
It is. That's the thing with that's and it's beautiful.
And also, I'm going to quote Julia again because I sent you this days ago. I found
That's
this thing
right.
where she cast all of the extras herself and all the parts. So when she was saying this, I just want to get up around the house and clap because I've watched so many movies, like the John Wick movies I love, or other movies where the dancing in the background is just mind soul crushing. Like you just
It
notice
takes
it.
us out.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And
I hate it.
I eagle-eyed this movie. I just went and bought this movie and I just eagle-eyed the screen looking for bad dancing and I didn't find
Nope.
any. And that took me out of the movie. But I was
The
watching. I'm like,
first time I saw it, sorry, the first time I saw it, I just thought it was the French, so they know how to dance. But then when you sent me this quote, when I watched it again, I was like looking, I was like, no, I'm gonna find that one person that actually isn't looking very good. And you're right, they're all just brilliant. But please, like, read everyone the quotes because it's very good.
oh, here, let me find it. But yeah, let me go up on Twitter.
I laughed a lot. It's very Julia.
Yeah, and
We can really
she's
just do a Julia's quotes episode.
yeah. We should just
Your
yeah. I'm
favorite
gonna
Julia
read.
quote.
So wait, let me go on my phone here. Just a second. So I got logged out of Twitter on my computer, which means I send you messages on two different channels on Twitter, and then I lose which one we had our
It's
conversation on.
sad what happened. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've done
But
that twice to you. All right, so here it comes. Here it
yeah,
comes. All right, here we
I've been
go.
wondering about that. Like
Okay, here it is. This was very important for me. I love directing the extras. The more extras, the happier I am, especially for scenes like that. We were 300 extras on set, and I directed every extra almost individually because everyone has something to do. It's a sequence shot, so everyone has to be very precise. It's very choreographed. But before that, just to give them an idea of what kind of party I wanted, I said two things. The first thing was, listen, I'm kind of an asshole who, when I watch a party scene in a movie, I'm going to check the full background to see if any of the extras is pretending to dance on fake music. If I spot that, I'm out. Bye. The second thing was, I'm going to show you how to dance. I don't want to see people dancing like they have a stick stuck up somewhere. And I'm not going to say, I want real dancing. Like everyone is here to fuck, basically. So I danced in front of my 300 extras.
I love it. I love it. Like it's so Julia. And it shows. Those scenes are just great. And I mean, like the attention to detail, the camera work, like the party scene at the beginning, the party scene, I love how the party scene at the beginning, the whole sequence ends with the shots of like the toy, like fluffy sheep, like dangling from a string.
Yeah.
It's like hang the lamb type of thing, which also again fits so into what's happening, you know, hang the lamb. That's so cool. It's just little details like that.
Yeah. I watch Mel Brooks movies and the extras are awesome in it. Like you watch Deep Background and the extras are hilarious. They're like earning their money. And then
Yeah.
but see, you know what I think it is? I'm not saying everywhere, but like New York, LA, just for, I guess talking about the states, they have a lot of extras who are like union. So you get
Right.
like union, like, hey, we need dancers. They're gonna get paid a lot because it's union. You come in as a union job, you dance well. We need good dancing. But if you go to Atlanta or like Budapest or Detroit or, you know, New Orleans and you hire 300 extras, they're just coming from wherever. And so you're
Yeah.
just getting anybody. So when you have these dance
Yeah.
scenes, they're on there on the day, they're probably not being trained, it's just like dance. And then you're like, hey, you know, and whoa, and that's where the terrible dancing comes from. When like the direction isn't there, the ads aren't on it, but sometimes you have 500 people. But if you get 500 people from like a Facebook call, they're not all going to be dancers and they're not going to be moving their bodies. They're going to be of all ages. It's not going to work. So what she like, I
No.
just like that she planned it out. That's important for her. And I can't
Yes.
think of one thing that took me out of the movie. I really can't, aside from me watching the movie to see if I could be taken out of the movie. And that's what
Which is
good
a terrible way to watch a movie.
well, I gotta get to like, well, what's the twist? What's the twist? But I'm gonna call it. But it's that's what good directors do. And
Exactly.
those scenes were important because and you know what, like, okay, this is a really random thing, but we did a Social Network thing, and Social Network's been talked to death. But the focus in that movie was the dialogue. So all of the scenes had to focus on the dialogue. And you didn't want
Yeah.
to be pulled out while they were saying the dialogue. So you had to,
No.
like, that's why he did 100 takes to get everyone in it and in it and in it and in it. So when you watch that movie, you're keyed in on them in the opening conversation. You're not
Yeah.
looking at a terrible extra because they've been doing it for 100 takes. They know what the drill is and they'll have to do it again if they suck. So she knew that we had to watch her. We had to watch her go through the crowd. We had to watch her find her sister. We had to like watch her sneak through and be timid. Like that's our focus. So if we're looking at some terrible guy just like throwing some like hip thrusts to the left of her, we're not going to pay attention to that. So you can't have it.
Exactly. And I mean, we had naked people in that crowd. We had guys throwing ass in that crowd. We had like people getting it on, people like licking each other's eyeballs. Like there was a lot of things happening in the crowd. And she knew when to make it the focus, like the eyeball thing.
Mhm.
And she knew when, and I mean, obviously I'm talking because there's two party scenes, the one at the beginning, the one at the end, and they mirror each other. Because the first one is where she's timid, and the second one is where she's out and ready to rumble, ready to bite someone. Julia just knew exactly where the focus had to be. Exactly, like, okay, so if you're going to be in the shot, I need you to do this, because clearly she said that she had to show some people how to dance. And I mean, it was good. Like some things was in the background, some things was in your eye, but it didn't distract. The way the camera moved through it all, it was just really, I love that type of choreography with like, you know, group scenes like that. That's magic for me. That's where I can really see if someone knows what they're doing. Like if they can do a proper type of shot like that, then I'm like, yeah, okay, give that person the jobs because they know what they're doing.
They really do.
Because I mean, it's not difficult to do that. It's difficult to do it well. Like anyone can do it, but is it going to look like the body scenes in Julia Ducournau's Raw? Yeah, that's the bar. The bar.
You know,
That's where
I'm
the bar
thinking
is set.
Small Axe had a one where I had a there's a that 3 films of Small Axe where it's like a dance party. That one's awesome. And then I can think of the Blade dance party from the first one. So I would put those three
Yeah.
as like the upper elite.
I love the Blade party. Yeah,
Oh,
Blade
so
party
good.
scene. Yes, yes.
It's
I always think about that one. I mean, but then you've got like, I mean, Climax. We both love Climax, another French horror film. Holy moly. I mean, that is an acid trip while doing what
literally
we are just
no,
talking about.
or no
Like,
LSD.
I mean, maybe in a bigger space, sure, but still shit. Like maybe it's again just like a French thing, like
Good
they don't even have
dancing.
to try. They just dream these things up.
Does anybody dance in Martyrs or Frontiers or Inside or High Tension?
Not in it. I don't think anyone dances in Inside. No.
They do a dance to get out of the house, it's like a
I
metaphorical
guess you can call
dance.
it a dance. Yes, the dance of murder and stabbing. Sure.
Kidnapping,
The,
taking babies. Oh my
now
gosh.
the tango in the bathroom.
Yeah. Oh goodness. It's a lot of scissors. But yeah, it's
Oh,
you know what's interesting too about the dancing scene where I was watching this movie. My brother and I talked about a film Timeline for the podcast. It's just a movie that has a lot of catapults, so I wanted to talk about it. And
cool.
I was watching the extras, and Richard Donner saw one of the main actors run. And he goes, "Hey, you don't run like that." So he stopped her. He's like, "Hey, buddy, run. Show her how to run." So on set, in front of everybody, he had some dude show her how to run. That's the most embarrassing thing I could think of, and
Oh,
it
dude,
horrified me, and just made
no.
me want to fist fight. Well, it really pissed me off. This
Oh,
movie, though,
yeah, you don't do that.
you have to micromanage because if someone's flailing in the background, you're watching them. So not only do they have to dance good, but they have to be part of like a tapestry that doesn't pull your eye away. Like good production design, you don't notice sometimes. Great production design, you don't notice sometimes because you're looking at the characters. So the dancing had to be good, but it couldn't be too much. And so that's why she
Exactly.
had to show them. So like that's not micromanaging. That's good direction
No, no,
as
exactly. And
opposed
I
to showing
mean,
somebody how to run. Like she didn't stop somebody and be like, "No, man, you do it like this," and she just starts like bopping. Like that's not.
yeah, or like in front of anyone, or grab the best dancer and say, show this person how to dance. No,
Oh.
she stood in front of 300 people and said, I want you guys to dance like a fucking, like, I mean, like that's different than like calling someone out and making a big deal out of it. Like that is a big freaking no. I would lose it if I have to see someone do that on set. That's not how you do it.
That's one
Yeah,
of those
that's a terrible
times
story.
though.
Thank you, Mark.
That actor, I could just tell that she was so kind of shocked by it that she didn't say anything. Because I've noticed sometimes when people just do crazy things to me, you're like, it's so left field that it takes your
Yeah,
brain
you're
a
kind
little
of
bit to
taken
go,
aback. Mm,
yeah, like that's what it is. You're
mm,
just sucked back and you're taken aback and you're
yeah.
going, what? Like
What just happened?
is
I
he
need to
showing me how to
process this,
run?
that this happened.
Like, yeah, that's I want to tell you
Yeah,
one thing.
that's not
I
cool.
got called out on a film set one time. I'm not going to say which one. I was a stand in, and they were like, Mark, watch this scene and then stand in. So I watched the scene. Then there's a window that the guy was standing next to. So I just opened up the window and looked out of it. The AD's like, Mark, you're not an actor. An actor would never do that. Don't do that in front of everybody.
Oh,
And then I was like, oh, yeah,
no,
copy that. Copy.
no.
And of course, I'm thick skinned. So I was like, copy that. The actor gets the scene, camera's rolling, action. Actor walks up to the window, opens up the window, and looks out of it. And I kind of want to just like smile or smirk, but
Oh, yeah, I mean, I would have laughed.
I kept the
Like,
craziest poker face though. I just kind of went, I have the worst poker face on the planet. Like I should have been like sucking my teeth and like putting my head down, like the character in this
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
But yeah, I just kept my mouth shut. No one said anything after that, but inside I was like, you son of a bitch. But yeah,
Well, you were vindicated.
yeah,
Thanks,
exactly.
actor. You were
Yeah,
vindicated.
the
I
actor
mean,
got
I
my
guess
back.
I would also just be fine. Exactly. I would be fine because, yeah, that just proved it. Suck it.
Yeah, but inside it was like play it cool,
Yeah, like
keep it cool.
really. Oh no, no, no,
Yeah,
no. I had
but
it
yeah,
when like people do that, and that is like, I mean, that's kind of we regard it as a cardinal sin on sets. Like you just don't do that. It's even the same thing with acting. Another actor doesn't tell another actor, "Oh no, this is how you do it." You do not do that under any circumstance. If someone asks you, "Hey, how would you say this line? Can you help me? I'm having trouble." Sure. But that's because that is solicited. Like never unsolicited, never. And then calling someone out like that, that is so rude. That is
yeah.
just It's unprofessional. It's rude. It's a shitty attitude. Like anyone who listens who works in the industry, don't ever do that.
Oh
No,
man.
because I mean,
Yeah.
it's a collaboration, and I like that because I think it definitely feels like also the way Julia, does her movies. It's definitely like, collaborative, and because that's what movies are supposed to be. That is the kind of job it's supposed to be. People coming together, not a couple of like dictators telling the peasants what to do. I mean, and paying them thusly. No. It's supposed to like be a more equal setting, even though, well, that is a pipe dream.
Yeah. I mean, directors love that power. Like Michael Bay says he's like when Oliver Stone shot Any Given Sunday, he's like, "Welcome to Vietnam." When Michael Bay makes movies, he compares himself to being a general to make the movies. Now, Michael Bay makes sense because he also acts as his own. He has ADs, but he's very much so. He has the personality of a first AD. So I think a lot of people are used to directors just being directorial and kind of behind the monitors and gentle. But he's like the first AD, so I think that hits people off guard. But I don't think that's the way to make a movie. Like I watch how Sofia Coppola makes movies, and they're gorgeous, and she doesn't scream at people.
Yes,
It's
exactly. I'm
it's
sorry, you don't need to scream at people. I
Mhm.
I do not see any situation unless you're screaming at someone because he's being an idiot to someone else. That's like the only reason I can see screaming at someone.
Why is that on
Like,
fire? That's when you get annoyed.
put out the fire, you
Literally, like yeah.
dumbass.
You dropped the truck on the star, you idiot. Like that's when it's a
You called
problem.
her a what now?
Uh,
then
one
then yelling is allowed.
one of my students the other day, she's gonna have a great career in the industry, and she's already started working on films. She wants to direct, and she said, "Mark, like I'm really not outspoken. I'm very artistic. I don't want to tell people what to do. I don't want to yell. I don't want to be that director because many people think that's what a director is. They point at things, they make that little box
No,
like a little frame, and they
no.
look through it. But I told her like what I think what Julia does and what Sophia does not Ducournau, but it's they know the movie at the core. So
Yes.
like what Sophia Coppola knew, Virgin Suicides was about loss, and so everything was based around loss. Julia knew her movie inside and out, and so once you know a movie inside and out, you don't have to yell, you don't have to scream, you just have
Exactly.
to tell people this is the vision. And if they're like, "Hey, I don't get this," like, "Hey, the vision is loss. The vision is like the vision here is what's the one word explanation of raw? It's what's
One
the
word.
evolve? No, not evolving. That's a tough one. But like they just know it at the core. So no, they don't have to yell. They don't have to scream because they know what the movie is, and the crew knows what the movie is because you know what the movie is. So I'm not saying I'm great because of that, but I just think the directors I love, like Wes Anderson, like Julia, like Sofia Coppola, they know exactly what their movie is at the core, and that's why they're great.
Exactly. And I mean, like the advice I would give your students is like, I think a lot of people would be great directors and would love to do it, but they feel like they can't command people. Like they think they have to command everyone. And like, they might feel like they don't want to do that because they might feel like a bit shy or not really like, ooh, everyone listen to me now. But you don't have to have a room full of people and say, okay, shut up, listen to me, we're going to do this.
Mhm.
You can literally like go to individuals and speak to them individually and make sure they know what they have to do. Like it's just about communication. Like that's what I
Yes.
want to, it's just about communication, and you can do one-on-one with people and make sure they know what they need to do, because if you can communicate that to individually to people, when they come together, gosh, it's just magic happening, and you will have no reason to yell unless again someone is being an absolute dick. Oh, censor that, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like you say, if you know what you're doing, that also gives you confidence. And if you can get that, if you can communicate it, then you're good. You're good to go. You're good to go.
And she also knows
And and
Garance
and
from
people
the ground
respect
up.
that also. And that's the thing. People respect that also.
Mhm.
So if someone wants to come and like be all like, other people will have your back because they know that you know what you're talking about. They know that you know what you're doing.
Because you know what you're doing, right? Like, people lose faith in you when you don't
Exactly.
know. So this is really random, but when I
Exactly.
was working Comic Cons, I always made sure to like get every question that people would ask. So like, hey, Mark, where's the exit? Where's the green room? Where's the elevator? Where are the hot dogs? Where are the bathrooms? So I would tell all of my volunteers everything they needed to know. And then then they're like, I don't know. Like, hey, where's William Shatner's booth? I don't know. Like everyone has a map. Take it out and look at it. Because once the people know, that just builds a lot of confidence in other people because they know that the people know. And so yeah, like that's what Julia does. And also, like, she knows they've been acting with Garance since she was 12. So I had a mini crisis before we started Zanandi, and you saw almost a Mark meltdown when I realized that Garance has been playing Justine in Raw and Titane,
Titane, yes,
but it's not the
yes.
same character.
No, just the same name. But I love that there's a little connection. But it's nice to think that it might be the same Justine that's just lived her best life before getting murdered.
Yeah, by a serial killer.
Yeah, the one monster, the cannibal getting like murdered by the other serial killer. Like, I mean, it's like, welcome to Julia Ducournau's universe. We are all monsters here, like it's that kind of vibe. I dig it.
They should
I
make a
wonder what
movie.
monsters we're gonna get in Alpha. And I say monster, I say monster like she talks about the monsters in her movies.
She does great monsters too. And they're like
Right.
the thing is, Alexia is a monster in this movie. Alexia is,
Oh, she's
yeah,
wild.
she
She's
has,
wild. She's
but
been unsupervised for way too
yeah.
long.
And also too, there are these movies where there's this constant thing of like, we are like, I think Justine's quite powerful too. When she has her
Mm,
sex scene with Adrian, she's overpowering him. Like she
yeah,
is, like he's
yeah.
scared for himself. And listen, she could be super tough, but the way that she's kind of tossing him around, who knows? Maybe these cannibals are extra powerful as well. But watching Alexia, she's a serial killer. She
Yeah.
she gets jealous, she gets
She's
petty.
calculating.
Yeah.
And she's
And
calculating. She goes and waits for the cars. She's calculating. She premeditates, like where Justine kind of just, oh, blood. Oopsie.
I'm gonna eat this finger. But yeah, it's so you have kind of, technically speaking, Justine is a monster, but she's not a monster. She's just a cannibal. But Alexia is a monster who is a monster. Does that make sense?
But also just a cannibal and also just like a product of her environment
Yeah.
and also genetics.
Mm-hmm. It's not their fault. It was like
No, they got it from Ma. Ma,
mom never told them.
meatloaf.
Where is she? Oh man.
Yeah. Mom has been gone for a week.
What a movie.
But listen, that finger scene, like I love the scoring there also, and that's kind of, I mean, I think that organ music that plays during
Mm.
that scene, it's kind of
Oh.
like a motif because I know it plays at the end also, but I just love when that comes out because she so suddenly starts eating that finger. It's like this poking and looking and like slow, and then she goes for it. It happens. And that organ music comes in. And composer Jim Williams, like, I mean, props to him also. I actually went and looked, like he did he was composer for Possessor, Titane,
Oh.
obviously, Resurrection, Kill List. Like he's actually done some pretty cool stuff. Because I really dig the score and the music in this film too. There's really all the boxes are just hits. But I just wanted also to give a shout out to the music and the scoring because so good. I love that organ music. Kind of makes me think of Muse. And on that note,
Ooh.
Garance always makes me think of Megan. She looks like Megan to me. She kind of looks like Megan, don't you think?
Let me see. Grants.
I mean, obviously, I just see Megan's photos on
I
the
see Mallory
socials.
though. Jeez Louise.
You see Mel?
The
I see
face,
Megan.
the eyebrows, the furrowed eyebrows.
Oh, when I watched Raw again, I was like, man, she looks like Megan to me.
No.
But yeah, Megan, Mal, because Mal looks like her mom and her dad.
Megan does have the, I don't know, lack of a better term, the
There are some
triangle.
shots specifically.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, which is a compliment because they're both gorgeous. Like,
Yeah, she's very
but yeah,
like, I'm not trying to be weird here, but like Garance is, I think there's certain actors that you can just look at. They are very interesting to look at, and not in like, oh yeah, yeah, like kind of skeezy way. I think there are people that are interesting to look at. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And she's
Yes,
one of them
absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah. And she works on camera very, very well.
There are
Yeah,
certain
she
people who
holds
look better
you.
on camera, right? Like that's a
Yes,
thing. Some people just hold the
exactly.
camera better, and she does that.
Yeah. Now people forget that. People always say like, yeah, I don't look so great on camera. Well, other people are the opposite. They just look good on camera. And then you see them and like, oh, oh.
And by the way, I just
Not
sent
to sound
the
like an absolute bitch.
no, but no, I'm dead serious. Some people, and listen,
It's true.
when you're making movies, you want people on screen who look right on screen. If you have someone that
Mm,
doesn't look right on screen, then they take you out of it. Like you, if like there's,
exactly.
I'm not saying any of it's right and all the pressure that people put on themselves and like who's a main actor, who's a character actor. But this, I think sometimes you see someone's face and you're like, I don't like that face. Like, I just don't like this person. So I think you need
Yeah,
that for big
exactly.
blockbuster. Like, they need to somehow appeal to everyone in the world, but they can't be like
It's
the best looking person in the world, but they just have to be interesting looking. So there's a lot. Yeah.
it's a tall order, and they need to act.
Yeah, that helps. Well,
I
sometimes,
mean,
you
kind
know,
of a prerequisite, you'd think.
you can
But
always see though when people grab an actor or an actress because of their looks and like they're great looking and they're like, oh, put them in a movie. And it's always fun to see them evolve and actually become a good actor, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
true. No,
Who's
true.
who's the
Like the
guy?
naturals, if you will, like people who are just natural at something.
And like that guy Theo James. I remember watching him back in the day, and I'm like, he's a handsome dude, so they probably chucked him in a movie. Like I didn't think his acting was there, but then I saw him in White Lotus, and then recently in The Gentleman, and he's become a very
Yeah.
good actor.
Yeah,
So
no, he's good. Like what? I think I first saw him in Divergent. He was in
yeah,
Divergent. That's
no
where I
one.
first saw him.
Yeah, me too.
He
Maybe
was in
no one was good in
Divergent.
that, right? No one was good in
And
that.
but I'm just laughing because I remember one of my editors once said, "This Theo James, what is he? Is he even a person?" Like,
Right? I
and
saw.
yeah,
Yeah,
now he's
yeah.
popping up everywhere,
But he's
like
good. His
yeah.
acting's better. I mean,
But
that's
he
what happens.
is. No, exactly. And but it's also, I think with him, it's again that thing of putting him in the right things, He's
Yeah,
not going to
yeah.
work in just anything. Where then you get people who can just work in almost anything. Yeah, I mean, like I think casting directing is fun because you get to make those kind of decisions. Those very important decisions.
Yeah, and then just the chemistry tests and all of that. But
Yeah.
that was Anne Hathaway shared some crazy stories about those, but that's not surprising. Did you hear about
No,
that?
it's not.
Yeah,
I
no.
have. I see headlines every now and then,
Yeah,
and then I'm
shoot.
just like, I mean, yeah, I remember when I had to like do those things, and it's not, it's yeah, it's not fun. It's not really stories you reminisce on, you know?
You know what's odd? It's kind of like put them in the same room and have them talk, and you'll see the chemistry.
Yeah,
That, just do they
yeah,
connect like that?
exactly.
And then you're like, oh, okay, cool. They actually hit lines pretty good together. All right, sweet. That worked. I mean, there's more to it than that, but I
I
like
think it's a
yeah.
I
We
think it's a
just
big deal for like the people who want to get like, oh, the beautiful people, that people are going to be like, oh, yes, yes, I want to believe in this love story because it's the beautiful people. And I can only see myself in it because it's beautiful. It's a very, it's a very interesting way of thinking. I don't, way of reasoning.
like, do you think I think our culture's created that though? Maybe American because like
It's very Hollywood.
we had
It's
Audrey
very
Hepburn,
Hollywood.
right? Who just explode like her style. She became an icon. And then we had Grace Kelly. Like I think you want these people that just sort of explode off the screen to become famous and fashion icons. And
I
then
also think you guys were the guys who used models as actresses, and then they weren't necessarily, but like that was a very you thing.
yeah, no, I agree. And
Like,
but the
yeah.
results were good though. Like Pretty Woman. I mean, Julia Roberts like she and so I just did an R-rated
No,
rom-com
but
thing.
Julia
Yeah,
Roberts is an amazing actress,
yeah.
so
But she and Richard Gere are good actors, but they also like exploded off of the screen in that movie. And it made
yeah.
with inflation, it made 445 million in the States. Like,
Mm.
but people just saw these two really pretty people who could all like her acting was incredible. I mean, she was Oscar nominated. And like when Harry Met Sally, like I think Meg Ryan just like exploded off the screen, but she's hilarious in it. So it's like this weird thing where we chase looks and we want that kind of fashion, and that's what you want in rom-com. It's all just backwards. But
But
yeah.
Meg Ryan was also kind of like the girl next door. She
Yeah.
was more ordinary though. I mean, remember when she ended up doing that? I didn't even see the movie. She did some risque movie
In the cut.
later on, I think in the cut or something, in the late 90s and then everyone was over Meg Ryan
Yeah.
because she wasn't this
The
like
next door.
this next door, relatable, normal. I'm like, geez, what's wrong with people?
And that's a Jane
I mean,
Campion movie. It's
I
better than people
what?
realize. Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it after this. Okay, bye, Mark. I need to go. I need to go and
Peace.
watch
All right,
Meg
so how
Ryan in
about
the
this?
cut.
Let's do our quick draft here real quick. Let's do our cannibal movie draft, and then you can get
Yes.
gone and you can watch In the Cut.
Fun. I can watch In the Cut. Jane Campion. Yay.
All right, I'll let you have first pick.
So many good movies. Oof. But I think I'll kick it off with the Spanish sci-fi horror The Platform.
Oh my goodness.
And they're making a sequel now.
Ooh.
It's interesting that so many years later, yeah, they decided they're going to do a sequel. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure.
Is this
I
one going to
love
be
Spanish
horizontal
horror,
and not
so
vertical?
they're gonna
Stu?
do, yeah, horizontal tunnels now. I don't know what they're gonna do
So
about that.
stupid. Platform cubed. That'd be interesting if the cube people met up with the platform people.
So maybe it's just the platform part two, the other platform,
Oh, another platform.
or something. I don't know.
And it's shaped like a
I don't
shoe.
know. Who
Sorry.
lived in a shoe, had nothing to do but eat people.
What an interesting idea for a movie. I love
Yeah.
it. I think you know what I'm going to pick first.
I mean,
It starts with an R, and it was
oh
also directed
no.
by a woman.
What?
Ravenous.
Oh, of course. Of course.
I'm obsessed with
Actually,
that
didn't even
movie.
put that on my list because I still need to watch it. I need to catch up on that. I actually started watching it and then I can't even remember why I didn't finish it, but I still want to. What a cost. It's yeah, an interesting one and you always talk about it.
I'm obsessed with it. The score is bonkers, and it has like Jeremy Davies, and he's licking me. It's so good. Oh my gosh. Oh man, what a
It
movie.
sounds ridiculous.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't wait to watch it.
a
I
gorgeous
can't
movie.
wait. Okay. Wes Craven Seals of Eyes.
Oh, the first one. Yeah, because
Yes,
that's Wes
Wes
Craven's. It's not
Craven's
Alejandra
Seals.
Aja's The Hills Have Eyes.
1977. I liked the remake. I did, but I'm going with Craven's, the first one, the OG.
Oh man, that one's rough. What, like Neptune?
I
Jeez
really
Louise.
enjoy it. Like every time I watch that movie, I'm kind of surprised at how much I like the movie, and I'm always surprised at how it just kind of stands the test of time. Like it's a good movie. It's like bonkers and whatever, but it's just well put together. But I mean, it's Wes Craven. He's good.
His
We
early
miss him.
stuff felt like you were watching a documentary that was filmed on wax paper, and it just made you feel
Right?
horrible.
Exactly. Exactly. He really knew how to let the camera kind of, lead the horror, lead the way to the horror
You're kind of like,
that's
shit,
coming.
man.
It's
Just like get out of here. Stop. Just move. We're not like a voyeur. Get out of here.
I dig it. I dig it.
I'm gonna go Bones and All because that's another
Oh,
fun cannibal
nice.
romance.
Yeah.
Good. Taylor Russell's great. Luca's a good director. Timothy's good. Like I like that Timothy, he eats people and then she tries to make him feel bad for it. He's like, don't make me feel bad enough for this. Like this sucks. Like don't make me feel worse. And then
Right.
also Mark
Oh.
Rylance in that movie with his little hair thing is
Yeah.
horrifying. So I'm gonna take
Right.
Bones and All.
Yeah, it was on my list too, because it's a good one. It's really a good one. And I'm glad like one of us at least picked it because yeah, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch it." I never got around to it. And they should. It's a neat little cannibal movie. Okay. I'm gonna go for something eating Raoul.
Oh,
What a fun
nice.
movie. What
Yeah.
a fun movie. I watched it for the first time about 2 years ago and I really enjoyed it. It's a good one. So now I try to watch it every Halloween. It's fun.
It features my guy from Night of the Comet.
Ah,
What's his name?
Night of the Comet.
That movie's very silly. I like it a lot. Oh, wait, what's his name? Robert Beltran. Yeah, I like that movie. All right. You watch it
It's
every
weird.
Halloween?
Now, yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fun one. But yeah, well, when I say every Halloween, I mean October. It's the whole horror month. So I work it in.
We need to put together a October viewing guide. What do you think?
We should. Let's do that. Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
You know,
And
I
we
made
should,
one of
yeah,
those.
try and
Oh, sorry, go for it.
you did. I
Yeah,
remember actually you told
it
me
was
about
huge.
2 years ago. Yeah, you did it, but then it got ripped off or
Yeah,
something.
like
What?
Will Wheaton shared it, and like a ton of people shared it. It was huge on Reddit, and everyone next year, everyone's like, "Hey, here's this calendar." So I'm like, "Oh, I can't do this anymore." But yeah,
Oh, right. Well, we can revive it, but we can make it fun and yeah, yeah, we'll make it fun.
I'm gonna take Delicatessen.
Okay.
Have you seen that
I
French
no,
cannibal film?
no, I have not. Tell
It's
me more immediately. French.
yeah.
I'm already sold. Like,
So my good buddy Dave, who joined me on an episode of we MFF where we talked about Sorcerer. I worked Comic Cons with him many years. It's about a butcher in a post-apocalyptic France, and then they, kills people and he sells them as food. But he says it's
ah,
not that. But it's just
yeah, yeah,
very
right.
gorgeous. I mean, Jean-Pierre Jeunet directed it. The guy who had a hand in what Amelie,
Oh,
and so it's very green. It's very stylish, and
nice.
it's just very. I mean, it looks gorgeous. Looks gorgeous. I mean, the dude directed Amelie, so it's going to look good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a gnarly little film. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, Delicatessen. And Dave also sent me the
Okay,
City of Lost
cool.
Children too.
Cool. I'll definitely go check that out. Nice. Ooh, I'm gonna hit you with a hard one.
Oh
Maybe I
no.
should end with two hard ones. Should I? Bone Tomahawk.
Oh, I was gonna take that. That one's gnarly.
Oh, I don't like it's one of those movies where I so want to watch it again, but I just can't get myself to actually because I
Nah.
know I have to watch it through to the end and that ending. But I mean, like everything up to the end is it's just so well done. I enjoy the characters, I enjoy the acting. I really enjoy it. I enjoyed a lot of that film. It just whew, when it went there, it went there. Like it's images that I try not to think of.
My guy Patrick Wilson's in that.
That's right. That's
Um,
right. It's actually, yeah, two, and it's interesting, two cannibal movies that I don't really recommend to just anyone because it's just so hardcore. It's movies that I can't actually watch again.
Yeah. It's like
It's
maybe
both
just stop
cannibal
it when
movies.
it gets to that point. Like
But
listen to
I
the
don't like
scene.
not finishing a movie. I'm one of those people. Like I want to finish something. Like, I'm not stopping the song in the middle of it. I'm not ending the movie in the middle of it. I'm like, I want to listen it like all the way through. I want to watch it all the way through. It's the whole experience. I'm not reading the book halfway and not reading the book, like unless it's really shit, but we're not
Yeah,
talking
true.
about that. We're talking about good stuff. So
Man, that's a brutal kill.
maybe I'll just like get up and go for like a walk
There
around,
it is.
like, yeah, go to my room, brush my teeth.
Try to figure out what channel I use to send you a tweet. Like, is this Mark or is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. For my pick, I'm gonna go with Soylent Green because I have a funny
Cool.
story about this. I had never watched Soylent Green, and I got a job from Film Theory. It was Food Theory, and they're like, "Hey, Mark, we need you to go write this episode about Soylent." So I thought they wanted me to write an episode about Soylent Green and whether it could actually feed people for Food Theory. So I watched Soylent Green. I put a ton of work together. I researched it. And they're like, no, Mark, we wanted you to do Soylent, this soy beverage. And the guy who started it said he could solve world hunger with it. So I did all this research on Soylent Green. And I realized that they just wanted me to do a drink, a soy drink.
Okay, that's funny. I mean, did you do anything with the
No, I
data that you
never,
collected?
because they were like, Mark, how do you solve world hunger with Soylent? And I'm like, well, it's a powder, so you need to get water everywhere. And not every country has water. So we need to put water wells in and like water points, but then they need to be updated. And then how are we going to talk with every single country on the planet about delivering Soylent? How are we going to deliver it? How much oil does that take? Like, what's the daily manufacturing rate of it? Do we have enough soy? So like I
Oh
started asking these big
no.
questions, and they're like, oh yeah, forget it. Like,
Not gonna work.
no.
Not gonna pass.
Yeah.
Next.
Like that's when
Oh
I ask
wow.
questions that cost me a job, which kind of sucks. But it's I'd rather do that than actually have to figure that out.
Yeah, and it was the right questions. Or then like having to do a job and then later on realize, oh, this is actually going to amount to nothing really. Like you're just gonna be, we can't really do this. Eh, eh, eh.
Yeah, I just once I drop the questions, like, yeah, forget it.
Forget it.
Forget it.
Okay,
Thanks,
so
Mark.
last one. I wonder, yeah, if I should go with the, like I say, the other cannibal movie that I don't recommend to people. Or Manhunter is so good also,
Oh yeah.
but got a lot of stuff. Yeah, okay, I'll go hard. Cannibal Holocaust. I'll
Oh
go
no.
for it. Don't watch it, people. There's a reason why it was banned.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
I
watch.
watched that movie when I was a wee innocent
No, you
little.
didn't.
I wasn't innocent in my 20s, but I was way more like innocent than I'm now. But yeah, I mean, and it wrecked me. I was like, what the hell am I watching? It was too real, man, because it was real. It's nah. That turtle scene, nah,
You
nah.
might have well have just watched a Serbian film as well. Just get it out of the way.
Oh yeah, so I've heard that it's Cannibal Holocaust and Serbian film, and because I've watched Cannibal Holocaust, I am not going to watch Serbian film. Thanks. Okay. Dude, I didn't like the Poughkeepsie tapes, so I think I know where my line is drawn with like in your
Man,
face,
I love
wild
I love the
stuff.
idea of the Poughkeepsie tapes, but it just
Oof.
felt like so much
Nah, it
acting in that.
was it got too sadistic for me at the end there. I was like, I don't know. Should I watch Serbian film? Is it
N-
okay?
No, no,
I
no.
I mean, it doesn't. No, I feel like no.
But I mean, you'll that means you'll have watched it.
What? Will I die a happy woman
Well,
because
no,
I
then you can
watched
just be like
the
part of the
Serbian?
conversation.
You want to talk to me about the
No,
Serbian
no, I don't
film?
want
Is
to talk
that
about
is
it.
that
No,
why?
no, no.
Well, then what? I don't want to be a part of a conversation that you don't even want to be part of.
That's fair.
Cool. Done. I'm not watching it. I watched Cannibal Holocaust. That's enough.
I
Don't
watch
watch it, people.
and listen, I cheat. I just put the movies on and then I do other things. So I don't sit there and just like wallow in depravity for 90 minutes. I just kind of write or edit a podcast and then I look up occasionally and go, holy shit. And then I go back and then that's how I did it. Which, yeah, Mark, that's great as a cinephile, but sometimes I don't want to sit in that depravity anymore. I'm not, if I got paid for it, sure. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But then I just don't watch again. Then I just don't want to watch it. Like, I have better things to do with my time.
absolutely. I'm gonna take
Yeah.
Fresh because there's a good kitchen fight and I like it. And it's a funny idea. Like he makes dinners and sends them to people. I like Fresh.
It was a funny idea. There was things, it wasn't a perfect movie or anything, but yeah, there were parts of it and things that I did like. And I mean, yeah, Sebastian Stan is always fun. He's very fun in the movie.
I mean, kitchen fight.
Um, and a kitchen fight. Exactly. Exactly.
And then
The weird
before,
dance scene.
oh yeah. And before we
There's
get out
some
of here,
dancing.
I got to read
Yeah.
some things, Zanandi, because I always forget to do this. I ask for questions and then I forget. So
Oh,
I asked, what's your favorite French horror film? Because John and Levingood and I talked about Infested last night. And you and I just
oh,
talked about Raw.
so
So,
good,
oh,
right?
so good.
Yeah,
Oh,
so fun. We'll talk about
so,
it end of the year horror stuff. Oh
so
my
good.
gosh, so good.
And
So
then,
good.
so I asked, what's your favorite French horror film? What's your favorite film that features characters stuck inside a location with an angry monster or ill-tempered creature? Favorite movie featuring cannibalism? Will Julia Ducournau win an Oscar in the next 10 years? And tell me your favorite movie, insect, bug, arachnid. Johnny Numb,
Be
Eyes Without a
better.
Face. Rats, Night of Terror. Fresh, he loves Fresh. He thinks Julia will win an Oscar. And he said The Bugs from Bug. Then Aaron Newworth said Raw. And he loves Saloon,
Cool.
but he said Raw is like is the best. And then he said The Thing, and then the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And he said if there's a radical shift from genre to something else, perhaps international feature, which is a very logical answer. And then
Yeah.
the Fly. And then William Underwood said Brotherhood of the Wolf, Alien, Parents. I don't see her winning anything but best foreign film. And then a tarantula from 1955's Tarantula. Jesse
Mhm.
Deal said Martyrs. You're hardcore, Jesse Deal.
Whoa, JC, holy moly. I mean, it's a good movie, but whoa.
And then the Descent, great call. And then Ravenous, my man.
Yes.
And let's see. And then he wrote probably not, but that's not her fault, which is I like that answer a lot. Like
Yeah.
it's
No,
like,
I mean, yeah, she should because she makes amazing
yeah,
movies.
she should have
But yeah,
already.
I mean, we're also all very realistic about it. So
And then the Bird Eater from Crocodile Hunter Collision Course. So we had those fun answers. So thank you very much, everyone, for
nice.
answering those. And this was great. It was
Yeah, that was
nice.
a good talk.
We didn't have
That
to
was a
go,
good one.
guys, this is good. We were just kind of like,
So much fun.
yeah, we were like, this is great. Like, instead of
We
us going
love
like,
it.
listen, y'all, this is good. We're sitting there going, everyone knows it's great, and this is why it's great.
It's refreshing. I feel like, yeah, we're kind of always the like team pumping up the underrated movies that like people love to hate on or whatever. This has really been refreshing to, yeah, have a conversation about a movie that everybody loves, so we don't have to say that like every 10 seconds
It's
to try and
good.
convince people. It is so good, you guys. So listen,
Yeah.
so fun, so good, so gory.
And then like I remember we did an episode back in the day, Chris Kelly and I, we were like, it's not that bad. Like that was our whole thing. Like it's not that bad.
Not
So like,
bad.
yeah, it saved us from going like everyone knows this is good. But you know what? There are great movies that are boring to talk about. This one is a great movie that's fun to talk about.
That's the thing. And I mean, there's so many things that we didn't even like, got in. Like you can get really into it. That you can have chapters about this movie. You can do a scene by scene of this
Ooh.
movie, I mean, because it's that good. There's so many things to dissect, to appreciate, to like discuss, to contemplate. It's a wonderful, wonderful cannibal. I want to say like comedy horror because yeah, it does have some cheeky bits. Like it's not comedy like the way, mm, the majority of the public would think comedy is, but it's there. The French chick is definitely there.
Well,
I
there's a
do dig
dark
it.
humor, right? Like what in Titane when she
Exactly,
murders
a
all those
dark
people.
humor.
Like,
Exactly. It's Titane, same thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Titane. I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying it wrong, but I don't care. It's just a great movie.
I
But
mean, there's a,
that
oh
scene
yeah.
made me laugh when she just kept having to kill people. Like that's not funny, but it's funny.
I mean, in Raw, when the two sisters get it on and they're like,
Oh, biting.
fighting in the middle of, there's a shot where Justine, like, you just see a backpack hitting someone in the face. Like, I laughed because it was actually a very comical shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's these little bits. I think when you can get over the gore, because I think that like gets a lot of people because it's not for the squeamish. Like,
No.
no, it's not. She eats a finger, like, and it sounds way it doesn't sound as bad. It's rough. It's gory.
It's
It's like
bad. Yeah.
eek. If you can get over that, though, I mean, you'll start to see like these little moments that are actually really funny. And that's what I love about it. It's not this serious, straight horror type of cannibal movie.
Great
Anyway,
movie.
again, like I said, we can actually just go on about it, but let's not. I'm gonna go and watch In the Cut.
All right. Where can people find you, Zanandi?
On my couch watching In the Cut.
All right.
Have a
Well,
great night, everybody.
all right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This was,
Thanks, dude.
we didn't have to defend it. This was great.
Yay! We should do more of these.
Yeah. It's not that bad. No, no.
Not
Like,
that bad.
yeah, no, this is great. All right. So thank you so much for joining me. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Zanani Boetes, this is Movies from the Flicks. We'll see you next week.